Hey everybody, before the video starts, I just want to say thank you so much for checking it out. Also, a couple things. At the very end of every one of the videos that I always do a summary sheet. It's a PDF file. You can take a screenshot of it. It's basically a note sheet that's totally completed for you. It's got all the key points and things that we're going to discuss today. Also, check out in the descriptions. I'm going to list out all the different links to the supplements I use, everything from pre-workouts to different proteins, anti-inflammation, all kinds of nutrients, things that I use on a daily basis to get jacked and stay jacked. All right, enjoy the video. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Matthew Lawrence Scigousky, your expert at unlocking, developing, and using assets derived through challenge, struggle, and adversity in life. And today we're going to get jacked. We're going to unlock a bunch of assets in the process. Assets like visualization, pushing limits, growth in both physical and mental strength, discipline, habit building, confidence, physical appearance, positive energy building, and many, many more. So why is this all important to you? Really because if you like the idea of being successful in multiple areas of life, working out can help fulfill and be a catalyst just for that. It can also unlock all of the amazing assets I just mentioned. So let me give you a little bit of background, really how I started training, or getting jacked, which really has been over the last 40 years. At the age of 13, I discovered Joe Weider and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I discovered the Weider Guide to Bodybuilding, which became an essential manual for how I began to learn lifting techniques, and it was really the start of me kind of becoming a bodybuilder. When I was a freshman in high school, I weighed 98 pounds. So by the time I was a junior though, I had actually grown to about 170 pounds and I could bench 315. In college, I grew from 170 pounds to 245. And by the time I graduated, I could bench 500 pounds. I could squat and deadlift 405 pounds. And that may not sound like a lot, but you got to remember, I've got a deformed left leg and I basically kind of function as an amputee. So I did most of that all on one leg. The picture in the thumbnail that you clicked on, that was me at 22, kind of at the height of my bodybuilding career. So I competed in bodybuilding, powerlifting, I dove into functional fitness, Olympic lifting for a number of years. And, I've even incorporated yoga. And today, at the age of 51, as I'm sitting here, I weigh 225 pounds. I'm slightly below 10% body fat. And in many ways, believe it or not, I'm stronger than I was probably 25, 26 years ago, which is, probably one of the things I'm most proud of, just because to be able to do this for that long a time and really still, I feel like I'm getting stronger the older I get. Some of the things I can actually do now, I have a push press over my head of 275 pounds. And I started working on front squatting about 10 years ago, which is incredibly difficult for me being, basically an amputee. And I've worked my front squat up to actually right around 315 pounds. So typical workout weeks for me, I like to work out 5 days a week, and I incorporate a training methodology using a foundation of bodybuilding, strength training, dynamic lifts, and functional movements using body weight. My typical workouts last about 90 minutes, and I'll be honest, I do very little, if any, cardio at all. So what I'm going to tell you though is this video is going to be a little bit different than kind of just laying out a workout and say do this or that. Because as important as it is to learn how to do all the different, lifts and all that kind of stuff, it's just as important to learn, proper movement, proper technique, set sequences. But I want you to get jacked, or I want you to really learn how to work out or up your workouts by incorporating really a mental preparation standpoint first, and that being the foundation. That's really what I do. It all starts with mental preparation. So here are some things you should ask yourself, and really have answers for when you get to the gym. Why am I here? And what am I doing? Or is what I'm doing lining up with what I want to become. Let me break down some key components for you to incorporate into your getting jacked journey. So first, visualization. What do you want to look like? Visualize the type of body you want to develop. See yourself doing the lifts the proper way and the actual amount of weights you'd actually like to get to. Visualize your muscles actually breaking down, adding layers, repairing and growing. You're going to want to develop a mental picture of exactly what you want to look like. I started doing that when I was really I started working out at 13, but when I was like 15, 16, I watched Pumping Iron, I listened to Arnold, and he talked a lot about that. And I really developed kind of a lot of visualization techniques at the gym that have really served me well in other areas of life, from like manifesting things. So visualizing is first. I want you to feel it too. Don't just go through the motions. Feel your way through them. I see people all the time doing other things at the gym. I want you to concentrate on what you're doing at the gym. There's a big, big difference. Get off your phone unless you're listening to music or looking for a song, but you're there for a reason, to get something accomplished. And if you really want to get jacked, that's what it's going to take. Purpose driven. What are you doing there? Whatever my workout is for a particular day, there's a purpose behind it. What am I looking to accomplish? That is what fuels the motivation for the workout. So if you don't have one, it's time to get one. Pushing limits. Challenge yourself. If you show up and do the same thing at the same weight every single time, you're never going to grow. In order to get jacked, you got to be able to push or pull through resistance points and raise the bar. Remove the excuse. This is probably one of my favorite ones, because everybody seems to have an excuse as to why they can't do this. Well, my knees are bad. I don't like to squat. If there's something holding you back, just remove it, whatever it is. I basically have one leg. If I used it as an excuse, I wouldn't look like this. Build a foundation. So build a foundation on core movements. So pushing, pulling, sitting, and then standing. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it does have to be done correctly. So we want full range of motion. If you're doing something half-ass, expect half-ass results. Or I should say, if you're doing something halfway, expect halfway results. Full range of motion. Check your ego. I see a lot of people at the gym trying to lift way too much weight, not the right way, all to feed the ego. It's not about how much you can lift. It's about how much you can lift the right way. Learn about yourself. Pay attention to what is working, what is not working. You can really get to know your body well, to what it responds to, and actually even more importantly, what it doesn't respond to. Mix things up. With a strong foundation in place, you can start to really kind of play around with different set sequences, supersetting, free weights, and machines, etc. This is probably one of the most important parts that can get neglected, but recovery. Newsflash, muscles do not grow at the gym. They grow while you're sleeping and recovering, so give that just as much attention as the training itself. Spread your training around so you don't overwork one particular muscle group. Feed them. Your muscles are hungry. And most importantly, ask yourself, what are you putting in your body? Personally, I love clean, raw foods, fresh, real foods. I also will supplement, or I should say support my diet with protein shakes in order to get the amount of protein I want to get, which is a little more than a gram for each pound of body weight. So for me, I like about 250 grams of protein every single day, and that's pretty hard to get just from food, so supplement with protein shakes. Also really important, and this is my opinion, but carbs are your friends. In order to break down proteins, you must have carbohydrates. So, also your muscles are made up of a high percentage of water. So, carbohydrate, hydrate your muscles. It makes sense, so use them. I have a whole list of supplements. And for those that are wondering, I'm sure you probably asked yourself, this guy's probably on steroids, has been on steroids before. I have used steroids. I did them for about 3 years in my early 20s when I was competing in bodybuilding. Um, Now I haven't done them for a very, very long time, but in full transparency, I'm a big believer in testosterone replacement therapy. So when I was in my late 30s, I noticed basically kind of some sluggishness, wasn't getting the same response, got my blood tested, and guess what? My testosterone levels were lower. So I like TRT therapy. I also kind of play around with peptides, but everything I do, just so you know, I built up pretty much the majority of my strength drug free. I did do some of that stuff as safe as possible for a few years, but I believe in doing everything to enhance my health. I want to be around for a long time and I want to enjoy life, you know, being physically fit. So do things that are good for your body. Let me give you a little bit of idea of the program that I actually do. So here's a breakdown of how I train each week. But this is really transcended over the years from all different kinds of training that I've done. And at 51, here's what I do. So I usually work out 1 or 2 days in a row. Generally it's 2 days, and then that's always followed by a day off or a rest day. On a rest day though, I do still like to be active. So I will take a long walk with my dog. In the summer times, I love jumping on my mountain bike, but it's just, basically you're just going to want some movement on those rest days. That's what I like to do. Here's the workout program. I like to train one major muscle group consisting of a core strength movement for the very first thing I do in set sequences of usually 10, 7, 5, and 3 reps. And then sometimes 1, because it can be fun to max out. But generally I stick with that 10, 7, 5, 3. I play around with it. Sometimes I'll do 10 sets of 10, which is incredibly challenging. Or I'll do 10, 7, 5, and then I'll get to 3 will be my working sets, and I'll do 4 or 5 sets of 3. So you can play around with this. I break my muscle groups into back, chest, shoulders, hamstrings, glutes, quads, calves. Those are 5 different workouts. Biceps and triceps generally happen on a pushing day. I like using barbell or dumbbell for rowing for my back, bench or incline for my chest, push press or strict press for shoulders, back squat or deadlift for overall leg strength, hamstrings, and glutes, and then front squat or hack squat for quads. That's going to be one of those things is going to be my core strength workout, which is going to take usually about 35, sometimes 40 minutes, depending on what it is. The next thing that I'm going to do is after I get that core strength workout in, I like to do a superset of something. And so what I will do is I will mix up a dumbbell, sometimes a barbell, with potentially a machine, band, or body weight, and I'll do 2 or 3 movements combined into usually 4 or 5 sets. And then I'm going to tell you something, I get really jacked from supersetting, and it keeps my heart rate up, and I get a really good sweat going. Cool down is followed after that, and that's going to be usually about 20, sometimes 30 minutes. I like to just get on a bike and do really light work, and sometimes I will combine that with some core stabilization work 2 to 3 times a week, just for my midsection. Another key point here, space out the muscle groups. So, you don't want to be overtraining them, so give them plenty of space in between. Work on your technique, range of motion, pushing yourself, and feeling what you're doing, all wrapped up into an overall purpose. That is how I get jacked. That's how I stay jacked. And that is how you can do it too. So, there's probably something else you might have noticed here. There are a ton of life assets we uncovered, and if I removed the word workout from this video today, it would be pretty cool and a powerful talk on personal development and success principles for life. Life assets are the best ones to build. You can build your own 401k portfolio that can serve you and pay you dividends over and over again. That's how getting jacked can transcend into other areas of your life. And that's why I love it so much. So, part of what I want you to get out of this channel every week when I drop a video, other than learning something of value, is know that, hey, I'm here to empower you. And if I can do this, I know you can do it. Let me know what you think. Would love it if you left a comment. Hit that like button if you like the video, and definitely subscribe. I would love if you did that too. So this is how I'm going to get better and how I'm going to learn. So get jacked, unlock assets, and I'll see you next week.